It is recap and reaction time, but not the UFC quite yet. That will be coming soon. Recap of UFC Fight Night Allen versus Costa will be coming soon. But first, we got to talk about the new kid on the block. We're going to talk about MVP Promotions and the show that they put on last night on Netflix. I believe it was, 11 fights or so? It was interesting. I was very intrigued in it to see what it was going to look like. I was curious about the production, the cage, the walkouts, the everything. I was curious to see how it was going to look. I was very entertained. I was very impressed. There were some good fights. There were some fights that I really want to rant about that we'll get to. So until then, we'll get to all those. I'm a little high up here. There we go. Anyway, we'll get to all these fights, starting with the first one here. Let's get right into it. Chris Avila versus Brendan Jenkins. Jenkins gets it done by split decision. I picked Chris Avila to win this fight. I really didn't know too much about these guys. I knew Avila was a boy of Nate Diaz. He's a good professional boxer. And I knew Jenkins would be down to scrap as well. So I knew it would be a fun fight on the feet. And it was. It was very fun striking. But Jenkins just had more activity and more volume. Avila wasn't doing enough. He was getting his leg kicked off too. Jenkins was, like I said, beating up that lead leg. He had more volume, more pressure, more punches thrown, throwing a lot of fun spinning back kicks and stuff like that. Avila just didn't do enough. He was tough, the classic. That's how you know you're losing. Oh, he's got heart, dude's tough. They said that a lot on this show, but no, it was a fun fight to start the card. I think Jenkins got a little bloody. There's a little shiner, up on his face, so it was a fun fight to start the card. Like I said, it was a split decision. Yeah, I guess. I thought for sure Jenkins won the fight, which obviously he did. But I thought for sure that he had won it. When they said split, I was like, bro, there's a chance they give this to Avila. But they didn't. They got it right. They gave it to Jenkins. Again, fun fight to start the card. I enjoyed it. Like I said, I liked the production. The walkout was cool. It was a very boxing-esque walkout, which I assumed with it being MVP and Netflix and Jake Paul and all that. The cage was pretty sweet as well. They had Mario Ronaldo. Is it Ronaldo? Is that his last name? The commentator. Mario, whatever. I think it's Ronaldo. I think that's his last name. He's super entertaining. I've been listening to him for a while because he used to do stuff in WWE for a while. He's super entertaining there on commentary. And then what is the ring announcer? That big dude. He's like 6 foot whatever. That dude was crazy. Big Mo, I think he's really good. So I was very pleased to hear both those guys. So again, enjoyed that part. But yeah, first fight, Jenkins gets it done over Avila by split decision. Fun, striking matchup. Let's move up to Aline Pereira versus, it wasn't Jade, what are they calling her? Jade Masong Wong. Aline Pereira, another split decision. I thought she was going to win this fight, and she did, but I thought she was going to knock her out. Masong Wong looked a lot better than I thought she was going to, and once again, Aline Pereira looks flat. She looks flat a lot when she fights. She doesn't engage a lot. She's too patient. I think she's too patient. Her grappling and her wrestling is definitely a hole in her game, but we know that she can strike. We know she's got the power. This was a fun striking matchup. Masong Wong had to do her best to get inside to land her shots, and she landed some good shots. Again, it was a split decision. I would like to rewatch this one. I think I should rewatch this one because in my head, as I was watching, I'm watching it. There's other stuff going on, kind of looking at your phone, whatever. So I wasn't like deep watching it, but I thought for sure, I was watching with my dad, and he's like, "Who won that fight?" I was like, "Oh, Masong Wong probably won that fight." And then they give it to Pereira. So again, I'm not gonna say it was wrong because I would like to sit down and deep rewatch it again. They both had their moments, but Wong, I feel like, was putting on good pressure, landing good shots. Anytime there was anything on the ground, I believe that she was doing better. But yeah, Aline Pereira, like I said, gets it done, split decision. Looked all right. Like I said, I just feel she needs to pick it up. She's too patient, too cautious. She needs to have confidence in her abilities and her striking, like she does in karate, like how she looked in Karate Combat. She needs to fight like that here. I think she gets in her head about the takedowns and the grappling as well. Just things for her to sharpen up on base. She moves to 3-2 as a pro. Masong Wong drops to 3-3. But yeah, that's a good prediction for me, I guess. Like I said, I got the right winner, but definitely not how I thought she was going to get the fight done. But hey, it is what it is. We move up. David Mignon versus Albert Morales. Mignon gets it done by decision. Wrestling and grappling. That's what this was. He was a better wrestler. He was a better grappler, and he used that to get it done here. A lot of takedowns, a lot of top control. I know I picked him to win. I believe I picked a decision too, so that's pretty sweet. Yeah, he gets it done. Like I said, not much to this one. He takes him down a lot, smothered him on the ground. Morales couldn't really do much about it. That's a good win for Mignon. He gets a win over a veteran of the sport in Albert Morales. Maybe he can work his way back to the UFC. Like I said, he was on Dana White's Contender Series, but he lost to Tommy McMillan, of all people. But he did have that guillotine pretty close on McMillan in that Contender Series fight. So, hey, there's promise there. There's promise there for him. So, we'll see what happens next. I do got to point out something that was funny. Me and my dad kept noticing it. There was a lot of times where he's on top, so he's like in guard. So it's got the high angle shot coming down. Bro had no hair on his back, except his lower back, leading right down to his ass crack. And it was very funny to look at because they kept shooting like the high angle shot right above it, right over his hairy butt crack. And I thought that made me laugh because I'm a grown man and that's hilarious. We move on. Next fight. Jason Jackson versus Jeff Creighton. Man, this was done quick. Jason Jackson knocks out Jeff Creighton in the first round. I mean, knocked him out good. I believe it was a left hook he caught him with, a lead hook. Checks him right on the chin. Boom, spins the head, drops him down. Creighton sits up. No clue where he's at. And then just this big black Jason Jackson fist coming. Boom! Hammer fist him on the way down. Great win for Jason Jackson. Yeah, first round knockout. I did pick him to win this fight. I thought it'd go a little bit longer because I thought Creighton was going to use more grappling. But he just never got the chance. He just got caught. So, yeah, this was a sick knockout. There were some good knockouts on this card. This was the first of the night. Great knockout from Jason Jackson to get it done over Jeff Creighton. Like I said, Creighton took it on short notice, too. So, I expected him to lose the fight. But just not that quickly. Jackson looked good. And he kind of used that as his, like, what do I want to call it? Like a stepping stone almost. And was like, hey, like, I'm legit. I should be on the main card of these shows. Like, I need that next level. And it's true, because, again, he's in Bellator, former Bellator welterweight champion. And we talked about him beating Amasov. He's the only guy. He's that one in that, 29-1 or 30-1. And Amasov's record. So, hey, don't sleep on the Jamaican, Jason Jackson, Let's move on. Next fight. Adriano Moraes versus Fumi Nakuda. This fight was interesting. Okay. Moraes gets it done. Rear naked choke. 4 minutes, 59 seconds into round number 3. Mind you, if this would have went to decision, he probably would have lost 2 rounds to 1. He would have lost rounds 3 and round 1. I do believe, from what I remember, in my time watching it live. But he gets the rear naked choke right at the end. He's cranking it. Nakuda's fighting. It looks like he's fighting. The bell sounds for the end of the round. Moraes kind of holds it a little bit longer because Herb Dean had not gotten in. Herb Dean was there. They had all the refs. The UFC had to get the replacement refs. They had to bring up the JV squad because every single ref that was at MVP, bro. They were all there. But anyway, Herb Dean's like not breaking it up yet because it was the end of the round. So Moraes just holds on to it for, a couple seconds longer. I don't know how, a couple seconds, went nothing crazy. And then he's like, all right, that's it. Like, that's the end of the round. Nakuda's out. He's face down. Straight down on the cage, on the canvas. Moraes gets up like, I won the fight. And I was like, yeah, he won the fight. And then they're reviewing it, trying to see if he was out before the bell or did he make it, and it's going to go decision because it's such a big deal because, like I said, I feel like if it would have went to a decision, Nakuda would have won the fight. So that's what made it a big deal. This was literally what decided if he won or lost the fight, I do feel. And they said that Moraes wins by submission. He put him out. A lot of people are upset. A lot of people are upset because they say Moraes was a dirty move. I see your point. However, in the moment, you got to think. He knows he's down. He's probably down 2 rounds, losing the third and the first. He has a chance to finish the fight. He needs to finish it. As an MMA fighter, you are taught you do what you have to do until the ref breaks it up. So the adrenaline's pumping, all this stuff. There's a chance he didn't. This is just benefit of the doubt. There's a chance he didn't even hear the buzzer go off for the end of the round. Or the bell. There's a chance he didn't even hear it. He's waiting for Herb Dean to get in there and mess it up. So I believe this is more on Herb Dean than it is on Moraes. Because he should have got in there as soon as the bell sounded. But hey, It is what it is. Can't take it back now. The crowd was booing it. A lot of people said it was dirty. Like I said, it is what it is. I see your point, but I think it was more on Herb Dean than it was on Moraes. Moraes is like, yeah, I won the fight, whatever. And Nakuda, they interview him. He said, like, he was upset about it. Said they should run a rematch for the first ever MVP flyweight championship should be between them. And Moraes is like, don't forget I won. I'm the winner, which was funny. But yeah, controversial finish there with those two. Yeah, like I said, I believe it was right. It was fine because that's not on Moraes, dude. I don't think he did anything wrong. You were taught to go until the ref breaks it up. Herb Dean wanted to wait for a couple seconds for some reason in a life or death moment there, or a win or lose moment there for Nakuda, where he's got maybe a second left before he passes out. So hey, I think that's, like I said, I think that's more on Herb than it is on Moraes. So let's chill on the hate there. But hey, it is what it is. We move on. I did get that one right. I picked Moraes by submission, which is awesome. I picked him in round 2, though. Nakuda looked really good. I wasn't familiar with him before this. Like I said, it was short notice for him. This was supposed to be Muhammad Mokaev versus Moraes, so I was very excited about that. I was bummed to see when that fight got canceled. But Nakuda came in here. He looked good, man. He landed some shots a lot. He was rocking Moraes throughout the fight as well, so he looked good. I would be very upset, too, if I was him with how that fight ended, but hey, not much you can do about it now. I would be cool if they did the rematch, you know. I don't know what MVP's deal is, like, future-wise. Are they trying to have, I'm sure they're trying to have more shows, so they're going to have to crown champions, and you need flyweights, boom, those two right there. And then if you go out of the U.S., have Muhammad Mokaev fight the winner for the belt, whatever, you know. They got options. But yeah, interesting fight, controversial ending, but Moraes gets it done by submission. We move up here to Fazil versus Babian. I got this one wrong. I'm not going to lie. I knew nothing about either one of these guys. And so I did my research. They're both finishers. They both come out hot. They're both looking to finish you, knock you out. A lot of people were picking Fazil, and I even said, you know what? Let's pick the underdog here. Let's pick Babian. Well, he got submitted. And they did. They came out hot. These guys were... apparently there was some tension here. I should have watched some more of the press conference stuff. Apparently there was some tension, some heat here between these guys. And but Fazil ends up getting a rear naked choke. Like I said, they came out hot in the first round. And then Bobby, and I feel like, kind of gassed himself out in round 2 from what I remember. Fazil was able to get the rear naked choke. Gets the win in round 2. Called out literally, I think, like, everybody. Said he was supposed to fight Mike Perry. Mike Perry didn't want to fight him. Said he would fight Nate Diaz too. Said something about Arman Sarukian, and not knowing that Arman Sarukian was there. So Arman Sarukian literally gets in his face. They got to get separated. This is, like, of course, not in the cage, like outside the cage. So of course Arman Sarukian's about to do a fight at another event. Apparently, from what I saw, Arman tried to go to the back to find this dude. Bro, if there's anyone that's about that action, it is Arman Sarukian, bro. I don't care what it is. If it's a real fight, if it's a street fight, if it's... it don't matter. Wrestling, grappling, boxing, kickboxing, MMA, street. Arman Sarukian's about that action. He's down to scrap. I respect it. Hopefully one of these days he fights in the UFC again. Good Lord. Anyway, Fazil gets it done. Round 2, rear naked choke over Jake Babian. And it is Babian. I kept calling him Bobian because I just thought that sounded more correct. But I was wrong. It was Babian. So let's move on here. That was the end of the prelims. We go to the main card here, where we start with Junior Dos Santos versus Rebelis de Spain. Perfect pick here from myself, but I don't think it was too hard to pick. Rebelis de Spain knocks out Junior Dos Santos in round 1. Yeah, man. Dos Santos had his moments, good leg kicks. De Spain throwing his kicks back as well. In his karate stance, bouncing around, hands down, looking to counterpunch. He just hit so hard. He was cracking Dos Santos, bro. He's cracking him. Pause. But he was cracking him good. And Dos Santos, bro's like 50. Like, he's beating up on an old man. I mean, what are we doing? But yeah, he puts out Junior Dos Santos. Good knockout, too. Legit knockout. Puts him out in the first round. And then they do a post-fight interview. And Ariel Helwani proceeds to ask 40 questions to Rebelis de Spain, who doesn't speak English. So Ariel Helwani asks all these questions. It goes to the translator. The translator has to say it to De Spain. De Spain has to say it back to the translator. Translator says it back to Ariel Helwani. So that takes like 5 minutes for one whole question. He asks like 6 more questions. I'm like, bro, this is taking forever. And basically, Rebelis de Spain, it was funny. They asked him basically like, Ariel's like, what's next? You know, karate combat? Are you back in MMA? He said he would do a little bit of both. And he's like, I want Francis Ngannou. And Era's like, oh, so you want the winner of Francis Ngannou versus Felipe Lins later tonight? He's like, yeah, I want Francis Ngannou. I was like, bro, not even giving Felipe a chance, man. I mean, we'll get to that fight and you'll see what happened, but, like, come on. Come on. Shout out Felipe. But no, like I said, if MVP wants to keep this going, and they need some champs, bro, there's easily your first ever heavyweight title fight, Rebel Spain versus Francis Ngannou. It's easy. You book it. It booked itself, basically, so you can go ahead and book that. But yeah, Despain knocks out Junior Dos Santos in round 1. I hope they got paid good. I saw their disclosed payouts. We'll talk about some of their payouts here in a minute when we get there. But yeah, sad to see Junior Dos Santos get knocked out, but we all knew it was coming. Let's be real. Let's move up to the next fight. Saladin Parnasse versus Kenneth Cross. Yeah, Parnasse gets it done. TKO in round 1. Another one that I got right. I don't think that was very hard to predict, though, just because Parnasse is a dog, bro. Like, he's like one of the best prospects in MMA that's not inside the UFC. He, like I said, 2-belt champ in KSW. Very, very good striker from France, but he can also wrestle on gravel if he needs to. Ends up finishing Kenneth Cross in round number 1. Had his moments. I believe they even did a little bit of grappling from what I remember. I believe he TKOs him on the ground, don't he, with some ground and pound. So, you know, not much to it. Parnasse gets it done. We kind of knew that. He was going to get it done. Like I said, that's a good prospect. If there's anyone, the UFC was obviously watching this card because we'll get into it in a minute. This is a guy I need to look at if they want to steal anyone from this card. It's this guy right here. Dude's an animal. Dude's a stud. He said lightweight. I even said, like, he'll fight anyone lightweight, featherweight. I don't know what he usually fights at. I should have looked into it. Obviously, this one's at lightweight. I'm assuming that's what he does, but he said he would do featherweight, so maybe he's a featherweight guy at KSW. Maybe, obviously, those are probably the 2 belts. He's probably got featherweight and lightweight over there. So, yeah. He looked like an animal. Very excited to see what he does next. That's a name that I would definitely be following from here on out. Like I said, shout out Kenneth Cross, though. Bro got some money. I don't remember how much it was, but bro got some money, you know. Came in, did the job. Thanks for working with us, kid. We move on to the triple header main events. We got Francis Ngannou versus Felipe Lins. I got myself clicking all the wrong things down here. Anyway, Francis Ngannou, Felipe Lins, and Ngannou knocks him out in round 1. I mean, come on. I think we all knew this was going to happen. That's what I picked. I think it's what the whole world picked. Yeah, he knocks him out in round 1. Felipe Lins, he tried. He tried to wrestle and grapple a little bit, and Ngannou was ready for it, defending the shots. He landed one overhand on Ngannou at one point, and Ngannou acted like a fly landed on his face. The size difference was crazy, but Ngannou ends up knocking him out in round 1. I mean, yeah, not much to it but that, you know. We kind of knew that's what was going to happen. Felipe Lins, I was like, at least he got a bag for this. He got $100K, which is good. That's a lot of money. But I thought he was going to get more money than that. Like, are we serious? But Jake Paul gave performance of the night to this fight, to Francis Ngannou. Francis Ngannou gave that $100K to Felipe Lins. So he doubled his pay. Shout out Ngannou. So Felipe Lins made $200,000 to get knocked out by Francis Ngannou. Hey, man. Hey. Money talks, brother. Money talks. Feed the kids. You know what I'm saying? Put food on the table. But yeah, not much to it. Ngannou, like I said, gets a knockout first round. Jake Paul said he wants to box Ngannou or something like that. Jake Paul started being in, for the main events, the 3, he started like being in the cage for the interviews and stuff. You know, I don't know. But he said he would fight Francis Ngannou. And then John Jones was there because literally everyone that had to do with the UFC was there. Merab was there. John Jones was there. Arman Sarukian was there. I think Pedro Munoz was there. There's a lot of people from the UFC there. And, but yeah, Ngannou, like, said, you know, if John Jones get out of that UFC contract and we can fight or whatever. John Jones, I think, said he would do it if he could get out of the contract or whatever. Who knows? You know, the fight that was supposed to happen so many years ago never did. You know how it is. 2 of the most hardest guys to work with, Francis Ngannou and John Jones. So if that would ever get made somewhere, there's no way. They're just way too hard to do business with, I feel like. But what do I know? You know? Let's move on. Co-main event. Michael Perry versus Nathaniel Diaz. This was a one-sided ass whooping, bro. I got this fight wrong. It started the way I thought it was going to go. It was Mike Perry coming out hot and doing a lot of damage to Nate Diaz. I just thought eventually he would gas out and Diaz would take advantage. But he didn't get a chance to gas out because after round 2, the doctors came in. The Nate Diaz, once again, loses to a doctor stoppage in a fight that's supposed to be like a BMF fight. You know what I'm saying? That happened when he fought Jorge Masvidal for the BMF title, the inaugural BMF belt. And then he fights, BKFC, baddest man on the planet, toughest man on the planet, whatever they call Mike Perry, and same thing happens. But he was getting whooped on. I mean, Perry was hitting him with everything. Kicking him in the head, elbowing him in the head. Every punch he threw was landing. Nate Diaz was being Nate Diaz, standing sideways, hands down, popping his jab every now and then, trying to grapple a little bit. I think he threw up a triangle, arm bars and some stuff at some points, but, it wasn't working. And he even said it, Ariel was like interviewing him, was like, hey man, did you still want to keep fighting? He's like, yeah, but I ain't want nothing I was going to do. That's what's up. Mike Perry's pretty tough. There ain't nothing I can do, he's a bad man, bro. That's his point. That's the way he does. But I want a rematch. I'm gonna get him back, or something like that. That sounded just like him. Close your eyes, you would think Nick Diaz was on my show. Anyway, yeah, Mike Perry gets it done in the co-main. What did he call out? Oh, Jake Paul, of course, said that he goes, I wouldn't call out Francis Ngannou like Jake Paul did. He goes, but his words, I'll MMA Jake Paul. Bro, say you'll fight Jake Paul, because this is a fight, okay? You're not going to box him. That already happened. Both these guys lost to Jake Paul in boxing matches. Insane. But anyway, yeah, he said he would have an MMA fight with Jake Paul. I think Jake Paul said he would do it or something. I don't know. Or he kind of like big leagued him, He's like, I fight you in MMA, Jake. And Jake's like, yeah, thanks for coming out. Thanks for being on the show. So, it is what it is. We'll see what happens there. But yeah, Mike Perry gets it done. I'm sure he'll go back to BKFC and punching people in the face over there. Nate Diaz, bro, stop doing stuff. You literally don't need to fight anymore. You're pulling a Tony Ferguson. You're just going to keep losing. Let's not do this. Please go do, if you want to compete, go do, some grappling matches or something. I don't know. Maybe do, that combat jitsu stuff where they can, open palm strike. I don't know, dude. Just get Nate Diaz out of fighting right now. He doesn't need anything with a lot of striking in it because he's not doing well. So let's get him out of there. Now, it's time for the supposed reason that we were all here. Not me personally, but hey, main event, Ronda Rousey, Gina Carano, the biggest women's fight in history, whatever. This fight, waste of time. This fight did not need to happen. This fight was over in 17 seconds. Ronda Rousey comes across the cage, double leg Gina Carano. Gina Carano tries to lock in a guillotine. Genius move, Gina. Ronda gets out, gets in mount, throws two little weak ground and pound shots, S-mount, armbar, over. I mean, it's exactly what we all predicted. I predicted round one, Ronda Rousey armbar. We all kind of knew that was going to happen. But, dude, come on. Really? It was past midnight when they fought for 17 seconds. Gina Carano lost 100 pounds to lose in 17 seconds. But granted, that's a victory in its own right, losing 100 pounds. Good for you, Gina. You're in great shape now. Too bad you had to lose in 17 seconds to Ronda Rousey, the most annoying and worst person on the planet. That's a little far, but I hate Ronda Rousey. We talked about this. I can't stand her. I hate the way she walks. I hate the way she talks. I hate the way she acts. I hate the way she fights. I think she's overrated. I think she's one-dimensional. I can go on and on about Ronda Rousey, but it is what it is. And a lot of people were like, dude, that was I said the fight, if you check out my TikTok and stuff, showtime.tv04 on TikTok, I talked about how this fight didn't mean anything. It didn't need to happen. It was pointless. People are like, dude, pointless? What do you mean? They made money. Cool, they made money. I don't care who's making money. I don't care how much money Ronda Rousey's making. She made over $1 million. I don't care. Good for her. I don't care. This shouldn't be about her. It should be about the people watching. I was not hyped for this fight. We all knew how it was going to go. Gina Carano hadn't fought in 16 years, bro. You know how much the sport of MMA has changed in 16 years? Anything that she would have tried, anything she was good at back then 16 years ago when I was 5 years old, it was not going to work against anybody. Ronda Rousey, one-trick pony till the day she dies, was able to pull off that one trick against Gina Carano because Gina Carano hasn't fought in 16 years. Ronda Rousey, I think she's overhyped. I think she's overrated. She did so much for the sport of MMA, so much for women's MMA and the UFC. Yes, I will acknowledge that. She brought women's MMA to the UFC. Cool. When it comes to straight skill and fighting, she was never that good. Her striking's bad. She's a one-trick pony. It was judo throw you, put you in an armbar, maybe land some little pepper ground and pound shots. That's it. She wouldn't last in today's UFC. Neither would Gina Carano. A lot of the people on this card won it. It's not just these two. It's not just Ronda Rousey. But that being said, the fight it was pointless. This doesn't do anything for Gina Carano. Does her resume, does her, what's the word I'm looking for? Her career, does it get worse because she lost to Ronda Rousey in 2026 after not fighting for 16 years? No. Ronda Rousey, does her resume and her career and her star power get better because she beats Gina Carano in 16 seconds, who hasn't fought in 16 years? No. It does nothing. Arguably, it kind of does worse for Ronda Rousey's career because there was no point in this fight. It doesn't make her look better. She's not going to come back and fight again. Neither one of them are going to fight again. That was her last MMA fight. Like, there was no point to this. This was just a spectacle. I get it. I understand that. But the fight itself was pointless. Ronda Rousey thinks she's the greatest of all time. She's not the greatest of all time. Yes, you're the most influential women's fighter ever. Thank you, blah, 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 whatever. This fight didn't need to happen. I'm sorry. It didn't need to happen. It was a waste of time. They built it up so much. But, like, at least we knew. At least we knew this was going to happen. We all knew this is exactly what was going to happen. We knew Gina Carano was way in over her head here. A lot of people are saying it's rigged. I'm never one to say anything in combat sports is rigged. Even with the Jake Paul stuff, I was always a defender that it wasn't rigged. If there's anything that would be rigged, like if this were to come out and be like, yeah, this was rigged, I'd be like, yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. Like, I'd believe it. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not big on that. I'm not big on saying stuff's rigged in combat sports. I know it's shady business, especially boxing's very shady, you know. I would never, it would never surprise me if stuff came out as rigged. But this, say what you want about it, because I'm probably going to agree. It wasn't good. The fight wasn't good. It was like I said, it was just a waste. It was a letdown. And it was not necessary, because there was no reason for this. It doesn't do anything for anyone. All it did was make them money, and I guess it helps MVP promotions. Good for them, I guess. But the fight itself, for the sport of MMA, didn't mean anything. It did not. The two pioneers of women's MMA, cool, they'd both get smoked in the UFC right now. Even in their primes. I don't care. Prime Ronda Rousey in the UFC right now does not do good. She doesn't do good. If she can't toss you down and put you in an armbar, she's not going to win. I mean, she's proved that. We've seen it. When the game started evolving, she had to fight the real best women's fighter of all time, Amanda Nunes. She got the crap beat out of her. She tried to show, I'm more than a one-trick pony. I can strike. Look what Holly Holm did to her. You know what I'm saying? It's like, for her time, yes, she was one of the best because all she needed was what she had back then. Same with Gina Carano. They were good for their time. But like I said in my predictions video, I'm a big component on that. Like, guys that were good back in however many years ago wouldn't be able to hang now just because MMA, all sports in general, but mainly MMA, it evolves so much that guys that we would consider mid or not so good nowadays would be pretty damn good back in the 2000s. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of just the point I'm saying with this, like, with those two. It's not me trying to hate, it's just me being real. I would love to hate on Ronda Rousey because I hate on her all the time. Like I said, I don't think she rubs me the wrong way. She always has, even from when she was in the UFC. But it is what it is. Good for her. You got your moment. You got to beat Gina Carano. If it makes you feel good, cool. It shouldn't. It doesn't mean anything. But hey, good for you. She said she wants to go have babies again. So yeah, go have more babies, please. Gina Carano. No, but seriously, Gina Carano, though, congratulations. You got paid, and you lost a bunch of weight and got into great shape. Good for you. Go back to acting. Do some more acting stuff. Because she was in big stuff. She was like Mandalorian, Deadpool, Fast and the Furious. Like, she was in legit big stuff. Not some like little indie movie stuff. Like, so she's got her life set up. She should be good. Cool. Let's move on from this fight. I'm over it. We don't need to talk about it anymore. It is what it is. Yeah. That was the MVP card. Like I said, for the most part, I enjoyed it. The main event, stinker. We all knew it was going to happen, though, so it's whatever. But I enjoyed the card. It was fun. I enjoyed the production. It was nice. I would be excited to see them put on another show. I would love to watch it. The UFC was definitely watching because in the middle of Francis Ngannou's fight, in the middle of Francis Ngannou's walkout is when Dana White announced Conor McGregor versus Max Holloway 2 on International Fight Week. Thought that was hilarious. And they even did like the post-fight MVP interviews. And Jake Paul's like, wow, they would do that during our show. That shows they're scared of us, whatever. And they asked Francis Ngannou, he's like, what does that have to do with me? Am I supposed to stop at my walkout? That was a horrible impression. I'm very sorry. But you know what I'm saying? Like, the UFC was definitely watching. They were paying attention. They were paying attention to it. As they should. As they should, because when it came to star power, this card had way more star power than UFC Fight Night. The Fight Night had some good fights, though, which, like I said, I'll be getting into that soon. next couple of days, I'll make a recap on that. My predictions were not nearly as good on the UFC one as they were as the MVP one. I don't know, man. I've just been in a rut lately with these past 2 weeks for the UFC picks. I don't know, man. Got to dig myself out this hole that I put myself in with it. But, hey, it is what it is. That was the MVP promotions card. I think I went, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 and what? 8 and 3 with 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 perfect predictions. 4 perfect predictions. 8 and 3 with 4 perfect picks. That's pretty cool. Like I said, a lot of them I feel are easy to pick. Like the 4 perfect ones are pretty easy. I mean, come on. JDS getting knocked out. Francis Ngannou getting a knockout. Ronda Rousey armbar. You know, so oh no, this guy right here. Oh, David right here. Right next to me. I got him right too by decision. So that's another perfect pick. Shout out to him and his hairy butt crack. Appreciate that. But yeah, anyway, enough rambling. That's my recap and my reaction to MVP promotions. I enjoyed it. It was a fun show. Hope to do another one. Let me know how you guys thought about it. Let me know how you did on your picks. Stay tuned for a UFC recap, UFC Fight Night. Costa versus Allen should be coming soon. Recapping that. Follow my socials, Instagram, TikTok, same as it is on here, Showtime.tv04. Follow those. I'd appreciate it. Like this video if you enjoyed it. Like I said, let me know how you felt about this card. Make sure you guys keep subscribing. I appreciate it. I'm over 100 subscribers, which is so sick. I would love to hit 200, then 300, so on, so on. It'd be awesome. I really do appreciate it. So if you guys could subscribe, I'd appreciate that. And I think that's it. I will see you guys. The next video, like I said, should be UFC Fight Night, Costa versus Allen recap. So I will see you in the recap.